Well, no, my fellow streamers, 1989 to 93, special one for video number 33. 33. Wow, it's really going well, guys. Beaming in live from East London. Wow, how great is that? So we can touch people all over the world, our fellow classmates, is the one and only. Now, this fella here was a bit of a character at school, and he really came out of his shell in his latter years at Silverstream. And I remember him at a few parties, and he was just popular, especially with the girls. They definitely magnetized to this man. And look, it gives me great pleasure to introduce my friend and yours. Please give it up and say a big hello to the one and only man we called Howie, Andrew Howatson. Kia ora, Howie.
Hey,
how are you?
I'm good, Huge. Good to see you after all these years.
Most definitely. And man, just great to see you. I know all the guys that'll be watching us will just be buzzing. And look, thanks for coming in. And I guess just catching up. We had a little bit of a chat offline, and even that, I'm just buzzing. So really looking forward to hearing your story.
Great stuff. I think the internet connection is a little bit dodgy, but let's persevere. It should be okay. I'm just going to turn my phone off just to make sure that's not interfering with anything. There we go.
No worries. Understandable as I come to you from Lower Hutt. We're beaming all the way up to the Northern Hemisphere. Look, before we start, Howie, maybe you just want to let us know your location and exactly where you are.
I'm in East London in a place called Forest. The way to think about it is the Olympics in 2012 were at Stratford, and Stratford's like a mile down the road. So pretty kind of, it's zone 3 London, which is kind of considered kind of inner outer London or outer inner London, depending on what terminology you want to use.
Excellent. And mate, again, you're looking well. I tell you what, a lot of our guys are looking well. It's as if they're just about to start school again. You're one of those.
I think it's probably too many years in the English summer. This is summer now. You can see out the window. There's not much sun, so that's probably got something to do with it.
All right. Well, look, let's crack into it. Can't wait to hear your story. Now, take us back, Howie, to where it all began, really. So, how did you come about going to Silverstream? How many years did you end up doing there? And of course, you were a day boy, I believe, from Lower Hutt. Tell us about your first day. Can you remember it? Take us back.
So first day at Silverstream. Well, I was at St. Bernard's Intermediate. And before that, I was at a Catholic primary school in Lower Hutt, Our Lady of the Rosary, where I went to school with your wife. And then I was off to St. Bernard's for 2 years. And I think I was always destined for St. Bernard's College. And then randomly, I was quite naughty at St. Bernard's because I wasn't a naughty kid. And I wound up getting suspended at St. Bernard's.
How?
And then, yeah, I know, I was fighting, which is ridiculous. And then, so my parents, I think, decided to send me to Silverstream because I think they thought that might keep me a bit more on the straight and narrow. And that's what happened. First day boys, we got the train, and I remember there were people that I recognized from, or there's quite a few people that came from St. Bernard's, but there were other people from other kind of parts of Lower Hutt. I'm from Lower Hutt too, my hometown. And there were other people that I didn't realize that were going to Silverstream, which was kind of interesting. And then I remember the first day, like a third former, everyone seemed massive, like huge. The buildings were really old, like pretty old school. And I remember just kind of just really feeling like, okay, I'm here for 5 years and this is like day one. And I remember thinking, I'm actually going to be in this place for the whole 5 years. And I did stay there for the whole 5 years. So right through the 7th form in 93.
Wow, amazing. Now, who did you catch the train to school, or did you catch the train to school on your own, or were you with a bunch of other guys? Can you remember those guys?
Yeah, I do. Let's have a think. So Craig Duncan, who I'm still in touch with now, David Ross, I remember he was around.
Oh,
I think Mike Gallatley, he was there. Stu McKinley, we used to get on at the same train station. That's that. God, it's a while ago now. But I remember, you know, I don't think anyone's touched on it yet. But the train was always quite a big deal. Like, you know, all through school there was always trouble on the train. People getting chucked off by train guards at like Titus Station, and you know, various like a lot of laughs on the train. And you know, like there were often like girls from like Heratonga College or I think people used to wag school. Now that I think about it, and all they used to do was ride up and down on the trains all day and smoking. I remember people smoking at Taita. Like there was some, you know, there was definitely smoking, and there was like I wasn't a smoker. Well, I tried smoking, but it used to make me feel sick, so I didn't persevere with it. And yeah, I remember the smoking. So there's always things, and you know, they used to clip your tickets on the train. I remember, you know, once a train guard hit somebody with his ticket clipper and all this kind of stuff.
Oh wow. Oh,
Yeah.
amazing memory. Look, at Silverstream, now Silverstream was different for all of us. All of us had different experiences, good, bad, middle, whatever. Everyone had a different experience. What were some of your triumphs that you felt you had, and what were some of your challenges?
Well, okay, I'll be really honest. Like I'm gay, so being a gay kid at a Silverstream experience wasn't the easiest. But in saying that, I think I got through it, like a lot of laughs, and randomly there was the occasional, like it was quite sporty, and I wasn't massively sporty, but I think I did play rugby. You had to. And I think we had a bit of fun. I was always in those kind of like very low ranking rugby teams. And I think the reason why we all played was because we got to go to Pizza Hut for the for the end of season. It was all you can eat pizza as well in those days. And it was like $20 for like all the pizza and all the dessert. And then I actually had some quite good friends, because not everyone there was massively sporty. So I kind of gravitated towards more that group. On the whole, you know, like I remember, like I take it as a positive Silverstream. And I was thinking about it the other day, is like, you know, like a couple of people talked about classics on these videos, and you know, living in Europe, you go on these trips and I can actually go, oh, that, you know, that building was like, looks like a Ionian blah blah blah, and you know, like you can read a bit of Latin and Roman numerals and all that kind of stuff. And I think that goes back to Silverstream as well, because they were kind of big, or there was a lot of that as well. I mean, the other thing I liked about Silverstream as well was it being quite the kind of history of the place. Like it wasn't a normal secondary school. You kind of were quite aware that there was this tradition that went back kind of a long way. I can't remember the exact history of the Maris fathers, but I know that they had been around for a long time, and they'd done all kinds of stuff. And some of those priests that had taught us had been, you know, and quite interesting kind of postings and all that kind of stuff as well. So that's what I really like about that school, was that there was this massive history and tradition. Well, and the other thing as well is that it's amazing how even after being out of there for 28 years, how like I'm still in touch with people from there. And also you don't have to go too far till there's a Silverstream connection. You know, like living in London, there's a lot of Kiwis still here, and despite living in months of lockdown forever and that kind of stuff. And you often will run into people, oh, my cousin went to Silverstream, my granddad went to Silverstream, my uncle went to Silverstream. And in fact, I even went to the barber once, and the barber had gone to Silverstream, and he was about 10 years younger than us. So no, he was about 10 years younger than us. And we had this like really massive chat. And like, cause you know, like, I know I don't have much hair these days, but for whatever reason, I was at the barber for quite a long time, just chatting to him. And it was funny. Even he was about 10 years younger than us, and like he had still a lot of the same teachers and a lot of the similar memories and that kind of thing. So there's often that Silverstream connection as well. So yeah, a lot of positives about my time at Silverstream, and that still kind of go on today as well.
Wow, look, I really thank you for opening up, especially about being gay. Now, look, let's go right back to it. We weren't very good with gay in that era at Silverstream. We were quite a arrogant rugby playing bunch for sure, and I don't think the education was around, and it's certainly it wasn't what it is today. So, you know, bravo to you. Couple of questions, if you don't mind asking, and I'm sure the boys would like to know. So, were you openly gay at school? Had you come out, so to speak?
No, I didn't. It took me a while. Well, I came out in my early 20s, but I did actually delay telling a lot of people I went to school with until I was probably in my early 30s, probably about 30, because I just thought, because as you touched on, and it wasn't so much, or okay, so Silverstream was not exactly gay friendly. That's a bit of an understatement, but it's cool. But the country at the time as well was not massively gay friendly either, because like homosexuality law reform only got put through in 1986, and that was only a few years before we were there. So it was kind of a new thing, and I still remember the teachers on the whole kind of could tell and were relatively supportive, but. Yeah, I think too, because it was, it was kind of a new thing, and it was, and what was going on at the same time as well was that there was this AIDS crisis happening as well, which was, a terrible thing. And I think, it just was the times. Yeah. But it was certainly character building. And the thing is that in this day and age as well, is it's like really helped me, like, at work, I manage a team, and I've got a lot to do with people and all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of helped me, I guess, in some ways, think about the underdog. Like keep an eye on the underdog, and like kind of maybe see a bit of potential in people that aren't exactly kind of obviously kind of doing well, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so it wasn't the easiest time, but the positives are there, and all these years out. I feel I can be myself around people I went to school with. I don't feel like I have to hide who I am, and I kind of think that that it was an interesting education, and I wouldn't change it. I don't think.
100%. And again, man, big ups to you for explaining that to us. I think that's really valuable. I know the guys are going to get a lot from this. Let's not kid ourselves. We probably had a handful, if not more, guys.
There's a few, and I will say this is that like it wasn't an easy time for gay people or other people too who might not have necessarily fitted into the classic kind of mold. But I mean, I would say, look, please come forward, do a video. It'd be awesome to reconnect after all these years. Yeah.
100%. Right, now, just before the next question, you were a really good rugby player. I remember watching you play. I can't remember what team it was for, but there was a side of you that came out, and it was a really strong and almost sort of in the right way aggressive Howie that I saw, and you were actually really good.
The other people said this to me as well, and it's actually I quite like the lineouts, because I like jumping for the ball, and the rules were completely different in those days. So I like jumping for the ball, and there was this, and this is like kind of like probably sums me up as a teenager. It was I like jumping for the ball, and you could actually do a move in like the air and go down and get it out. Yeah. Back. Oh my God, get me talking about rugby. This is like the first rugby chat I've had in forever. So that was it. And I scored a try once. I remember that. It was just like, oh wow, I haven't spoken about rugby for such a long time. It was like on that field, I think it was the number 2, that was what it was called, wasn't it? The number 2 field up by the Home of Compassion.
Up the top, yep.
Yeah. And I remember we were like, what's the term? Like a rolling ruck or a rolling maul.
Yeah, rolling maul. Yeah.
A rolling maul. And I remember I was in the forwards, and I somehow managed to get the ball and just like kind of fall over the try line. And it was like, wow, you've got to try it. Yeah, but I actually enjoyed it. But to be honest, I didn't like getting hurt that much. So I did used to like kind of keep away from it a bit. But I did enjoy my time. But as I said, like I think the biggest thing about that rugby season thing was the Pizza Hut.
All right. That's brilliant. Tell us about your occupation. Now, this is interesting. What do you do for work, and sort of what have you been doing over the years?
So I finished Vic, and it took me a while, but I came out there with a politics degree and a law degree, but I decided I didn't want to be a lawyer. And so a lot of people do this. You don't really know what you want to do. So you kind of fall into recruiting, which is helping other people get jobs. So I've made a career of that. And then kind of over the last 10 years, I've been working for like US tech companies, kind of helping them expand in this part of the world. So recruiting here in the UK and Germany and most European countries. And so I was running my own business for a while, for a few years. I know I did a stint in New Zealand. I randomly worked for the New Zealand government for a year. He reached out to me, and I had a year living and working in Wellington and Auckland. That was back in 2017 and 2018. So I saw a few people from school ran into. But yeah, kind of, I ran my own business, and then like I joined Zoom back in 2019 before the pandemic, and I look after the recruiting team for the European region. So it's like a team of people. Where are we? We're in Ireland, we're here in the UK, we're in Amsterdam, and we kind of recruit kind of for Zoom anywhere between like all the way down to Cape Town, all the way up to the Nordics, Ireland, all the way out to like the Eastern European, Russia, Dubai, Israel, those kind of places as well. So it's a really cool job and great people as well. Watching these videos, there's quite a strong Irish connection as well. So I've had a lot to do with Ireland over the years as well. And my boss is Irish and one of my colleagues is Irish. And I'm quite close with them. So I let them know about these videos and I show them just a couple of highlights and stuff, and they think it's great as well. I think there's a lot of kind of crossover with Ireland and New Zealand culture as well as the love for rugby that a lot of Irish people have.
Wow, well, that is wonderful, and thank you for working for Zoom. It allows us to do what we're doing today, and yeah, I think it's
I don't do the good stuff. I mean, well, that's not true. I don't do the techie stuff. That they're the people that need the big thank you, the people that actually keep it up and running and all those good things. Yeah.
Wow. Now, listen, I'm going to move on to family. I'm not familiar with the laws over there relating to gay marriage and things. Obviously, it's she's all go here and going wonderfully well. So, look, are you married? Are you in a relationship? Do you have children?
Yeah. No children. I have a boyfriend, Matt. I've been with him for a while. I've actually been talking to him a bit about Silverstream. I think he's probably sick of it. Like, because all this jogs the memory. I was like, I went to the school where we had this thing called ranks, and there was this thing called weekly notes and all this kind of stuff. And he's an economist. He's a civil servant. He works for the government. He's originally from Essex. But no, he's good. We get along really well. He's kind of a bit more like, I guess he's quite a down to earth kind of like an even keel person, and I'm still a bit like, social and that kind of thing. I can still go out to like 4 a.m. and all that kind of stuff, which I try not to, particularly in pandemic times. Yeah.
Well, I had a quick look on the net before we came on, and I understand where you are in East London can be quite the nightlife area. You got a lot of places there that are considered that sort of life of the party sort of area of London. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I mean, like London, it's easier to kind of go out and stuff like that, but the pandemic has changed things. I mean, we've been living in restrictions now for such a long time, but we're allowed to go out, and I mean, yeah, no, London's good. It's just kind of where I landed, really, and I've been here for knocking 20 years, so it's been a while, but it's good. And I mean, I'm this pandemic as well has stopped me going back home, because I'd love to go home and see parents and family and friends and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, excellent. Now, before the next question, I just want to acknowledge you, Howie. Look, I won't go into it too much, but really for the rest of our boys' benefit, I want to thank you for reaching out to me and offering financial help in the way.
Oh, no problem. Honestly,
in the way of some money. Yeah. No, but listen, that's just a wonderful gesture, and that enables us to do a couple of things here. So thank you so much for coming forward and for doing that. That really meant a lot.
No worries. And I can't make it because I'd have to quarantine for 2 weeks and take about 30 COVID tests and scan into all that kind of stuff. So unfortunately I won't be able to make it, but it looks like it's going to be an awesome night. And, hopefully one of these days. And in fact, quite by coincidence, Stu McKinley and I, we're in touch, and we caught up for lunch, I think last year, I think it was. And then we'd actually, quite by coincidence, planned in a July lunch. So if there's anyone here who is in the area who'd be keen to catch up, it'd be good to see them after all these years. Also those, I don't know who's watching this, but if there's any kind of people who are above us or below us who's around in the UK, maybe we could do something as well. Even if we didn't know each other that well, it'd be kind of good to maybe get together and do something. Yeah,
great call, Howie. I think what we're doing now is going to gain some momentum, and I've just got a good feeling that this may carry on to other and further events, reunions, catch-ups, as we grow older. So watch the space, I reckon.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, big memory time. You will have a lot of events, memories that are etched in your mind from your time at Stream. Is there one that's stuck with you, that you just sort of can't get rid of, that pops up at night, that you think, gee, I remember that you can share with the boys?
Well, the funny thing is that I think you need, there are so many memories. I think like Richard Elworthy spoke about haka practice. It was, yeah, I remember that quite clearly. And what I remember the most is just the big characters, like so many characters, like fellow students, teachers, even people that worked there. Like it was just this endless supply of these huge, larger than life characters. And what I remember the most is just having a lot of laughs. And I still remember like, it's funny, like Connor Downey, where I think we're connected on social media and that kind of thing. And I think we've had a couple of messages back and forth, but I still remember just sitting up the back of the class and having huge laughs with him, like massive laughs. And but him alone, like, I mean, there were so many other people like that as well. Just for whatever reason, that memory just popped into my head. But yeah, kind of big characters, a lot of laughs, some really good people, and also like, I think it's just something that, it will never leave us until we're old. Or, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I hope not. I think it's a great thing. Do you keep in touch, apart from those that you mentioned? Is there anyone else that you keep in touch with that we went to school with?
So Craig Duncan, yep, he's in Switzerland. Stu's down in Kent. Richard Elworthy, Mitchell Gray, Andrew Staniak, Dan Boyle, of course, he's here in London as well.
Awesome.
Who else is there? God, I feel well, the other two is that I forgot to, I'm still in touch with a lot of people from Sacred Heart.
Yes.
And so so there's like Shelley Quinn and Sean Billington and Jenny Marnie, because I had COVID at Christmas. I was a mild dose, but it was still grim, and I wouldn't want to wish it on anyone. It was horrible. But people like Sean got together a care package. She sent me some good like Kiwi treats over. I still haven't got anything from Silverstream people, so if anyone wants to tell me, yeah, still kind of not right yet. So, yeah.
Well, see, there's a case in point. You got really close with these Sacred Heart girls, right? I remember.
And another one's Maria Shamanik as well. Yeah, no, I just they used to have this joke that I was an honorary Sacred Heart student. So, yeah, but I knew a lot of them. We lived near each other and kind of were around and about, and stayed in touch with them after school as well.
Well, I think some of the boys could have been a bit smarter, and you could have been the ultimate wingman.
If only we had a time again, maybe next time around. Yeah.
Oh, listen, wonderful. Well, my friend, just a wonderful chat that I've had with you, and I just want to give you an opportunity, because we're going to send this video out tonight, and so many people are going to be rapt to hear from you. And again, thank you for opening up and just being yourself. That's amazing. So thank you. Is there a message or a shout out that you want to send out to the rest of our guys out there that are going to be watching?
Yeah, just hope you're all well. And as I said, like, I think, life has been interesting for most of us. Good to reconnect and see all those old faces. If anyone, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon because of the COVID stuff. Hopefully it'll go away sooner rather than later. But if anyone comes through London or whatever, feel free to drop me a line. And it's just great to be back in touch. And I hope you're well. And I wish you all the best.
Well, there you go, fellow classmates. What a wonderful video for video number 33. The man who works for Zoom, the man coming to us from East London, and so many memories that he's brought up there. Howie, on behalf of all of us, thanks, brother. Great to see you. Look after yourself over there in the UK, and we'll be keeping in touch with you. And at the dinner, I'll make sure that the glasses are raised in your honor. We'll give you a toast.
One more thing I forgot to mention, and I was meaning to mention this, was I had the huge kind of good fortune of having a night out with Greg Wood when we were in our late 20s. I ran into him, and he was with older people that we were at school with, and I can't remember the names, but we went out having the most amazing night out. And it was just, and when he did pass away, I was really upset because, it might have been a few years before that, but I was just like, wow, that's such a good memory to have, because I think we were out for like 8-9 hours back in the day, and it was such a good night, and so that's just a really good memory to have of Greg. And when you're raising your toasts, I'm sure you will, please remember him and anyone else that might have passed away as well.
100%. And what a great segue into closing up. A great memory you had with Woodsy, one of our mates, and may he rest in peace. Well, my friend, take care of yourself, and once again, thanks for joining us.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks, and thanks for sorting all this out.
You're welcome, mate. Thank you.
Okay. See you. Bye.